So what we'll do is take this over here. We're going to set it right here like this. And now we're going to get into this refrigerator, and we're going to check out the phyllo dough. Look at the color on the potatoes, the Parisian potatoes. We're going to take that, and we're going to start those guys up here in just a minute. We're going to drain these carrots and just let them sit there and just dry off now. Now the phyllo dough. Now the phyllo dough, you guys, don't worry about it. Don't freak out. You can go ahead and get it pretty much at any grocery store. But you've got to be really gentle with it because it does tear and rip apart very, very easily. And what we're going to do is open this up like that. We're going to just roll it out. And you've got to be real careful with it. Okay? And what we're going to do is roll this back because we're only going to use a little bit at a time. We're going to layer it about 5 or 6 sheets. You don't want a whole bunch. So just work this stuff very, very, very gently. And you take the first sheet, and it's going to rip. It's going to tear because it's already ripped and torn in the package. So I take this, put this back in the refrigerator so that way it doesn't start getting warm and it'll start sticking on you. So we got that going on. Okay, now we got butter. Okay, lightly. Just hold it with your fingers and just brush. Get a good coat on it. Bring it down. And you're going to layer this, like I said, 5 or 6 sheets. You don't want to go crazy with it because you don't want to just be eating all that dough. You want to go ahead and have some meat to enjoy with it. There you go. You just brush it down with some melted butter. And it's going to give it a really, really, really nice texture. Okay, we got one more layer right here. Put it on there. That was a good layer. That one's going to be really awesome. The sauce is boiling. Check it out. Okay? Now what we're going to do with that sauce is take this cornstarch and we're going to add a little water to it. I'm just going to mix it up like this. We're going to thicken that sauce just a little bit. Okay, I'm not a big fan of using a roux in this particular sauce. And we're not even going to use all this. We don't want it too thick. Woo! That's what happens when you got a hot sauce cooking. We're going to sit there and just let that thing cook down just a little bit now. And just boil. You need to let it boil for about 5 minutes when you put the cornstarch in there, all right? And in the meanwhile, we have potatoes. We're going to kick it up. We're going to get these things turned on real quick. This, we're going to salt and pepper. Okay, just a pinch for right now. And thyme. Put that in there. A little white pepper. Ooh, smell that thyme. I'm doing this, and I'm stalling for a little bit of time because I want the phyllo dough to kind of like set up just a little bit. And now we're going to go ahead and take one of these shanks out of here. And we're going to bring it over to the counter. We're going to drop this puppy off right here. We're going to hand it off. Get this oven closed back up. Now watch this. This is pretty cool. Take that paper right there like that. Okay. And now what we do is take this crouton. We're going to go ahead and put that guy right there. Tell you what, why don't we just use this one? This is a good looking guy. We're going to put it right there. See how it balances like that? Now what we're going to do is use your knife to go up underneath this phyllo dough. See, it's all one piece now. So we're going to bring it in corner to corner, just like this. Okay, and then we're going to just going to fold it the opposite direction, just like that. So it's got kind of like little wings. Okay. And then we're going to pinch it off right here on the very top. We got this, we got that. Okay, remember the leek I cut earlier? Made the julienne with? We're just going to go ahead and tie this very, very loosely with the leek, so that way it doesn't expand and it holds itself in place just like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and take this and we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of butter around it. We're going to paintbrush it just so it'll take on some color and come out. Now you only want this thing golden brown. You don't want this thing anything but a light golden brown. So just go ahead and take your paintbrush, paint it up a little bit, be gentle. Get into the cracks a little bit. Hold your finger on the back side if you have to, so it doesn't break apart on you, because it's very, very fragile. And now it's all you're going to do is get this thing brown. It's still nice and hot, so you don't have to worry about that. Now we're going to take this and we're going to go to the oven and we're going to put it back into the oven, okay? Set it right there on the stove. First thing you want to do is go ahead and raise your rack back up a little bit. Now my broiler, the flame is up on the top. A lot of broilers, the flame is on the bottom, down up underneath. So you want the flame, whatever you do, you want the flame over the top. And if it's too small, then just go ahead and put it in your oven and crank it up as high as it'll go, and then just watch it so it goes to a golden brown. All right? Now, back to the sauce. Let's see. There we go. You can feel the resistance on the whip inside the sauce. Now we're going to go ahead and let that one cook down just a little bit. That's in the oven cooking. All right, back to the potatoes. Oop, wrong burner. All right, back to the potatoes. Okay, got those guys fired up, no problem. Right to the potatoes. We're going to go ahead and saute these puppies right off, and they'll be good to go. You hear them sizzling? Look at the color on these things. They just take on a good color right quick like. Gonna leave those there. Take a look at the sauce. The sauce. Now we're going to start tasting the sauce. Okay. So now we have to go ahead and alter this thing. So we need salt. And a little bit of pepper. Just a little bit. While we're doing that, just go ahead and move these puppies around a little bit. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on in here. Take a look. See how nice and brown it's starting to get? A little crispy on the top, but that's all right. If it starts doing that, you can always put a piece of tin foil over the top of it, or just put it on a lower shelf, or you can reduce the heat just a little bit, okay? But you can see how it's starting to bubble at the very bottom right there. That's the butter that we just put between those sheets. They're starting to expand and everything's starting to fall out from underneath of them. So I'm going to close it up. We probably got about 5 minutes for this guy right here. Back to the sauteed vegetables and the potatoes. Pretty nice, huh? Okay, we shut the heat off the potatoes and the carrots. They're done. So we're going to let them just sit here for a minute. Now, I've been tasting the sauce, and the sauce is still just a little weak. So we're going to add a little bit more rosemary to the mix, okay? And we're going to stir it up and see what we got going on here in the oven. Oh, yeah. See how it's starting to get golden brown? Yeah, just a little bit more, a couple minutes. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get the plate and get ready to plate this thing up and have a nice lamb shank for dinner this evening. So I'm going to move over to here now. There is one thing I did forget, okay? And that happens on occasion. The leeks. Put the leeks in here. Let them just get a little bit of that flavor, a little bit of that butter, and you're fine. If you try to saute them and start spinning them around, they're going to fall. All right? So just put them on there just real quick, just so they get a little bit of heat to them. And we're going to make some room because we're going to bring that sheet pan over here. And I'm going to reach across here. My favorite cameraman, I'm always in his way. And we grab this plate. Now what we did is we toasted this bread and we cut it on a bias, French bouquet. We're going to put it on the middle of the plate, and we're going to go ahead and take the lamb shank and put on top of it, and then put the sauce around so that way it's up out of the sauce. If you just go ahead and dump it on the plate, you're going to have the butter mixed with the sauce and everything else, and it's just going to look like a great big puddle. So this is going to help absorb some of that fluid and some of that butter. So, okay, now we're cooking. We're going to take this guy out now. Look at this. Look at that. Look how nice and golden brown that is. Let me grab my little trusty spatula. I'm going to use a little tiny guy right here, because it's easy to work with, and you can pick it up. You put it right there on the crouton. Set that down. Walk back over here. I'm going to grab a little bit of sauce. I'm going to shut this guy down. We're going to set that sauce right there. And I'm going to get a ladle. And we're just going to go ahead and just ladle this around like this. See how clear that sauce is? That's the way it's exactly supposed to look. Now we've got the vegetables. Let's go ahead and just throw them on there anywhere. It's not that big of a deal. A couple potatoes. There we go. Now leek. Got to have the leek. And just set the leek out there. You only need a couple or three. They're pretty pungent. They've absorbed all that butter and all that flavor. So, voila. This is lamb shank in croûte. We had it down in the Mexican Riviera, and it was one of the best things that I've ever eaten. And like I said, I like the phyllo dough instead of like a pie dough or a sweet dough because it's just too thick, it's just too filling. This is really light, crisp, and just really, really refreshing. So it's all I can say is I hope you enjoy it. It takes a while to cook, but it's well worth the wait. Here it is, lamb shank in croûte. At the end of every one of these clips, I'm going to say pretty much the same thing, so don't get tired of it. It's all I know is that our men and women of our armed services need our help. If we can help another country when they have a catastrophe, these people go to fight for us. They protect our Constitution. They need our help. They're coming home now, and this is when they need it more than anything. So listen, just enjoy the meal. Go to grubbinwithgodfrey.com, pull our free recipes, and give us a donation. And let all your friends know, and send it out on all your contacts. God bless you, and bon appetit.